Hey everybody, it's Mark. Welcome in to my studio. It's been a while since I posted a video here on the YouTube channel, and so since we're getting toward the end of 2024, which is still amazing to me, time has flown in the back half of this year in a crazy way, but we're coming toward the end of the year. I wanted to give you guys a quick update on what's been going on with me, what's been going on with projects here in my studio, and what my plans are going forward through the rest of the 1 month we have left of this year and then into 2025. So first of all, really quickly, I don't want to get into a lot of details here, but what's been going on with me, I've had a bit of a health issue related to heart and blood pressure things that has kind of kept me from being able to be on a kind of normal schedule where I know that I'm going to be feeling well enough to be able to record and produce videos for the channel here. And so that's been the main thing that stopped me from posting a lot of videos in the last several months. The good news is that's starting to kind of stabilize. I think we've got that mostly under control at this point. And so I'm hopeful that moving forward through this month and then into next year, things will be a lot better from that regard. And so I'll be able to, have a more regular schedule of being able to plan and upload videos here on the channel. However, in the meantime, I've been doing plenty of projects here on my own, just not recording video and sharing them with you guys. And so I wanted to go over some of that here with you today. We're going to do it pretty quickly here and then talk a bit about what my plans are, like I said, going into the beginning part of next year. Now, just as a bit of kind of ground setting, for those of you who might not know, if you're kind of new to the channel in the last, like 6 months or so, you probably got here because of some 3D printing related video that I've posted, because those have been the ones in the last half of the year or so that have been the most popular and getting the most traction. However, I have another hobby besides 3D printing. I also build model kits, specifically Gundams and other mecha-related model kits. And we have in the past had videos here on the channel talking or showing those builds and talking about techniques related to model building and stuff as well. And I do plan to bring some of those videos back going forward. So we're going to have a mix of 3D printing videos and Gundam model building videos, and probably a few videos that kind of mix the two disciplines in some interesting ways that I'm already starting to think about. So from that point of view, I wanted to talk about kind of what I've been working on. First of all, in the 3D printing world, right? This thing might look familiar to a lot of you because this is the video that's gotten the most traction in the last several months, and that is this Drybox storage system for filament that I released parts for on printables, I guess like 4 or 5 months ago now at this point. And it's been really popular. I still use it here in the studio, of course. This is one that I've just finished printing and put together. Well, not just finished printing, we'll get to that in just a minute and I'll tell you what's going on with my printers. But a couple months ago I finished printing this one. I just haven't used it yet. A couple things I wanted to mention. First of all, some of you have reached out on printables and in the YouTube comments to let me know I forgot to upload the STL for the blank version of the tag that slides in here. I uploaded ones with labels for like ABS, ASA, PLA, so on, but not the blank one, and so that's been fixed. On the printables link for listing for this thing, there is now the blank version of the tag, and I'll link to that down in the description, as I will with pretty much everything I mentioned here in the video. The other thing that I found interesting recently is one of you, and I don't have the name here in front of me, but I'll put it on the screen right now so that that person gets the appropriate credit, has created a remix of this base piece on printables that he claims does a better job of not binding up with the bearings. Now, I've not had that problem with mine, but I know some of you have, and so I'll link to his remix of this base part in the description of this video. You can go check that out if you've been having trouble with these not rolling well. And I'm also, once I get the ability to print things again, and again, we'll talk about that in just a second, once I get that going again, I want to print his version and compare with mine, and I might, if that turns out to be a big improvement, just go ahead and roll that back into this original design, giving that person credit, of course, for their work. So those are the big things related to the filament storage system. Now, I have mentioned a couple times my 3D printers. Back there behind me, in the corner, is my Voron 2.4, and it is currently out of commission. Has been such for a couple of months now, I guess. If you've been following the channel, you know a while back I rebuilt a Dragon Burner tool head to replace the Stealth Burner in that thing, and as part of that build I included an LDO Nighthawk 36 as the tool head board. It connects via USB back to Clipper on the Raspberry Pi, and the cool thing about that is I also added a beacon probe which requires USB, and you can chain that right off of the Nighthawk, and that's a great idea. However, in practice it wasn't working. It was intermittently disconnecting, reconnecting, disconnecting. I actually built a brand new umbilical cable with my own USB cable that I purchased that was higher quality. That actually did fix the problem for a little while, but then it started disconnecting again. It turns out that LDO has recalled those Nighthawk 36 boards. The resellers aren't selling them right now, haven't been for a little while, and they're redesigning it because they discovered that apparently there's a heat issue where if you use it in an enclosed environment like that one is and you're printing high temperature materials, it can cause connection issues with the USB. So I'm hoping that pretty soon LDO will go ahead and release the updated version of that Nighthawk board. When that happens, I will go ahead and purchase one, or maybe they just send me one as a replacement for the one that I already have. I'm not sure how that exactly works, but in either case, I'll get one and I'll replace the tool head board there, and we should get that printer working again. And I'll let you know in an update here on the channel in the future, what turned out with that project. And because I think that the USB style connection is very promising as long as they can make it reliable. So we'll see how that works out. In the meantime, the only printer that's working for me is my little Voron V0. And, that's been, to be honest, not something that I can use for prototyping big parts for things like this. And so while it is useful, because it's so small, it's not useful for doing big functional parts. However, I have been, you might actually hear it in the background right now printing. I've been printing a lot of these. I'll put the link, this is not my design, this model. I'll put the printables link here to this thing in the description as well. But these are cool little Christmas tree ornaments that have this nice little, they work better as a fidget toy in my opinion than an ornament. I've got a whole bunch of these sitting on the shelf over there, and like I said, there's one printing right now. I'm printing these almost non-stop for the last week or so. We're actually participating in a toy drive for some foster kids in our area, and I'm gonna throw one of these in with each of those gift packages so that they can have something fun to play with that reminds them of Christmas. And so that's happening there. The other thing that I've been playing around with 3D printing is this little figure here. He's called Dummy 13. He's been very popular, so you've probably already seen him. But the cool thing about this is it prints like a model kit, so it prints on these little runners, and then you cut the parts off and assemble it. It's got great articulation and such. But one thing for me, this doesn't print, this runner specifically doesn't print at full size on the V0 bed. It's just ever so slightly too tall. And so I'm thinking about doing a remix of this that will break this runner into two, and maybe allow you to print it in two different colors for some interesting effects on his joint parts, on his kind of inner frame setup that they've got going on here. So that's something that I'll probably be working on, and then using this as the ultimate test for the sort of the final detail printing goal that we had when I built that V0 earlier this year. I put a very small 0.25 millimeter nozzle on it. I have tuned it to be able to print with a lot of detail. So I'd like to print these guys on that, and maybe some modified versions of these guys with some extra details on the heads and torsos especially, and see how nice we can make these things look, how close we can get to something that would be like almost look like it's resin printed. Of course, we'll never get quite to that level of detail with an FDM printer, but I think we can get pretty close with that little V0. So that'll be something that I'll be playing with going forward in the next couple of months as well. Now, on to this Gundam related stuff. So this thing right here is the Eternal Star Glory. It is just one leg, obviously, of that kit. I've just recently gotten around to starting to airbrush these parts, and I've been filming footage of that as well, so I think that there will be a build montage video in the future on the channel coming here that you guys can watch, showing the process of scribing and detailing and painting and then assembling these parts. So I did one leg complete, at least for now, just to make sure I liked the color scheme. This is close to the original color scheme that the kit came with. I've added a little bit of the blues and teals and some of the oranges as well, just to kind of change it up just a little bit. But it's mostly a white and light gray kit, and it looks really, really good. And I'm happy with how it's turning out. So that'll be that build montage will be coming up fairly soon, I think. And then in addition to that, I've actually designed a base, a stand for it to sit on, because this kit didn't come with its own display base. And this is the like the prototype that I printed out, I just cut it in half because it wouldn't fit again on my V0's bed. But this is the ST01 Glory insignia that's on one of the decals on the piece itself, on the, you know, that came with the kit. And the idea here is that where this hole is right here, there will be a vertical transparent acrylic rod that will come up, and the kit will be suspended in the air above that. Now I'm going to add some extra detailing and break this up into multiple parts so that I can print this almost as a model kit in itself and then paint it up and assemble it. So again, probably a different video than the build montage for the actual kit itself on the channel in the future, talking about this base and you know, what its final configuration is. I think it's going to look pretty amazing. So I'm looking forward to that. The other build that I've done recently is this Sky Defender. Now this instruction book for this model kit looks like a magazine. It's crazy. It's full color. If you've never built a mecha style model kit but you like building model kits, this is the one that I would recommend that you go and find. It's called the Sky Defender. It is really amazing. I built it over the course of like 2 or 3 days when I had nothing else to do. We had a hurricane come through my area a couple months ago, and everything was shut down, schools and businesses and everything, for a few days while we were all hunkered down waiting for it to go by. And I had nothing to do, so I sat in the house and just built this thing pretty much, I don't know, 8 hours a day for several days straight, and it took that long to put the whole thing together. It's an amazing looking kit. It's actually sitting back here on the shelf behind me. You know what? I'll just go get it. So here it is. It's very large, and it's blue and white mostly. And so as soon as I got this thing put together, I thought, wow, that needs like a paint job, some sort of custom recolor style paint job. And so what I've done is I've got these new paints that I've never tried before. They're made by a company called Kaizo. I've got 3 shades of red and then 3 shades of either black or dark gray. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to recolor this guy so that all of the white and light gray become black and dark gray, and all of the blues, which there are 3 different shades of blue here. The camera's probably not picking it up because they're very close to each other, but there are 3 shades of blue are going to be through the 3 shades of red. I think it's going to look really, really good. And so that'll be the next big painting project that I do after the Eternal Star Glory is done. This one's not going to require really any extra detailing or anything like that, because the plastic and the detail on the parts and everything is really, 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 really good just out of the box with this kit. So it's going to be basically just a repaint job, but I think it's going to be a ton of fun. And even just this base, let me see if I can get you a shot of this. Like, there's so much detail even just on the display base that it came with, that I'm going to either mask and paint or maybe hand paint some of these small details to try to pull some of those out as well. It's going to be a crazy painting process. So I'm looking forward to that. And I think that's about it. I've got one more bonus for those of you who have watched all the way to the end here of the video, which I think has turned out longer than I had planned for it to be. But there's one more thing coming in the mail. I was, I guess, tempted, finally succumbed to the temptation during Prusa's Black Friday sales that they had at the end of last week, to go ahead and order myself a kit to build a Prusa Mark IV-S printer. So I have had a Prusa Bedslinger style printer in the past. I had a Mark II years ago. It was given to me by a friend. I think it was actually my first FDM printer that I owned, which is, you know, interesting and kind of cool, I guess. It worked fine. It was, you know, it's a much older printer than the modern things we have now. But yeah, so I've had experience with Prusas and with Bedslingers before, but being mostly a guy who builds Voron and likes Core XY style printers, I'm interested to build the Mark IV-S and just kind of compare and see how that, you know, is different, how it works with, you know, a more modern version of an i3 style Bedslinger printer. And so I'm going to be probably making a build series here on the channel for you guys to watch along as I build that Mark IV-S printer when it comes, probably in the next couple of weeks. And then I also got the kit to build the MMU3 multi-material unit as well that goes with that. So we'll see, and that'll be my first experience printing multi-material. I don't have any type of a multi-material unit for either of my Vorons. So that should be fun as well. And the reason that they tempted me finally and convinced me to go ahead and pull the trigger and buy that with their Black Friday sale was because it comes with a voucher for an upgrade to Prusa's new Core 1. So you can actually disassemble the Mark IVs and rebuild it as a Core 1 in the spring when that kit comes out. And so I'll be doing that upgrade as well here on the channel. So I will have the Mark IVs just for a few months here, and we'll use it for some projects, and then I'll be disassembling it and putting it back together as a Core 1 in the spring of next year. And you know, that's really the thing that I want to kind of play with and compare with what the experience has been like with building Voron Core 1 style or Core XY style printers. So that'll be coming up as well. So we've got some, like I said, Gundam projects, some painting and modeling and detailing projects, some scribing work that I have done on this one kit here that I can show you guys on video, hopefully coming up pretty soon. And then also a bunch of 3D printing related stuff as well. So let me know in the comments which of those things are you most interested in. You know, what you guys want to see will to some extent you know, impact what I put here on the channel. Either way, I'm going to do all these projects, but whether I take the extra time to, you know, record video and then edit video of me working on the projects and then release it for you guys is, you know, in a way up to you and what you're interested in. So let me know in the comments. In the meantime, I hope you have a great holiday season with the end of December holidays that are coming up for everybody. And I'll probably see you in a video before then. But if I don't, I hope you have a great holiday season and hope you have a great day today. And I'll see you next time.